How do introverted people wish to be socially interacted with? I'll tell you what I hate. You're being so quiet. It's such a dickhead thing to say. You see that I'm not participating in the conversation, but instead of asking me my thoughts or something you just call me out for being socially awkward. I get this from my mother all the time, and I'm almost 54 years old. Surely she's figured it out by now. Edit. Wow, one of my most upvoted comments is about how my mother doesn't understand me. Thanks, guys. Edit 2. Thank you for the awards. This is why I love living in Finland. In Finnish culture it's the exact opposite. Most people here find it weird or even annoying if you talk a lot. I get that it might be boring to go on a train or a bus and not talk a single word on the whole day, but I love it. Also, when I'm just chatting in Discord with my Finnish friends, there are usually gaps up to 5 minutes where nothing is said, but when I'm in a call with foreign friends they will literally ask if I'm after a minute of silence. I'm super late to this thread, but yeah, I have a friend at work who just never shuts up. He's a spectacular guy, but he's a high-energy extrovert, whereas I'm a low-energy introvert. We take our breaks together. Morning is usually okay because we're joined by 2 other people, so there's a 4-way conversation. But by the afternoon break I'm drained, and he's literally run out of topics. But the upside that he just keeps going. It's almost like talking to an NPC in a game. He just loops the same topics. I still want to take a break with him, but just let me exist for a moment. We can sit here and do whatever and just enjoy each other's company, in silence. Not every introvert is the same. I enjoy being included in things, and sometimes it's hard for me to break into the conversation. So it's always great when someone says, "What were you saying, Silmelin?" This helps so much. Sometimes I need a break from a large group, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy the gathering. Please, don't ask why I'm so quiet, because it's a battle I've struggled with my whole life, and it makes me even more aware of how strange I might seem to others, thus making it even harder for me to talk. Being asked why I'm being so quiet is one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm definitely an extroverted introvert where I love to go out and go to social gatherings and be included, but I am very quiet and need a few days of alone time if I've had too much social interaction. I love to just sit and observe and take in my surroundings rather than have to be the center of attention. Most people interpret that as I'm either shy or just a bitch who doesn't want to be there in the first place. I love this, because so often I want to add something to a conversation, or I finally get the courage to say something and coincidentally someone else starts talking at the same time. Then I just feel more discouraged about talking. If someone takes a second just to say "What were you going to say?" it's huge for me. "Why are you so quiet?" is the worst. It feels like being shamed for not having a lot to talk about. It immediately puts you on the defensive. And if you're being quiet because there's something going on in your life that you don't want to talk about, well, then you don't want to talk about it. It's really not a helpful conversation starter. All of this, "Geez, why are you so quiet?" or being referred to as the quiet one makes me feel so weird and uncomfortable. Knowing someone has that perception of me makes it harder for me to speak. Not to mention that usually the ones who call me quiet are those who don't normally have substantive conversations. So a lot of the times I simply have nothing of substance to contribute. I want to be included, but in small doses. If you know me well and realize we've been in a social situation for an extended time, generally I just get really quiet and I'm making no effort at all to stay engaged with the conversation. Once my battery has drained, give me an optional, temporary out. Ask if I could check on dinner if no one is in the kitchen. Ask if I would like to run to the store for more chips/ice/whatever. Or if it's just 2 people, Excuse yourself to use the restroom and spend a little longer than needed away. Think of those little escapes from people as a burst charge for your phone. I hate when someone points out my quietness when I've been sitting there the whole time building up courage and or waiting for the right moment to say something. When someone points it out, I even become more quiet because now I'm nervous people are waiting for me to say something. Then I would get teased by comments that I'm making too much noise over there when I've been sitting silently for what feels like hours. Now I just want to leave lol. My intention is not to give myself a pat on the back here, but I always try to figure out if someone is trying to engage in a conversation but not comfortable being assertive, and ask them, what was it you were saying? I'm extroverted but deal with a shitload of social anxiety, so I try to be as inclusive as possible. Plus I'm inherently nosy and love to hear from everyone. I'm kinda a mismatch of introvert that seems like an extrovert with huge social anxiety around new people. Just try not to seem too intimidating or talk calmly and I'll be alright. Once you get to know me though, I'm loud and crazy when I know I'm safe with friends. I'm sure there's some actually post somewhere in here, but just remember that introvert doesn't mean shy. I am very capable of being life of the party, center of attention, but part of me hates it, and after I get home I want to be alone for like 2 days. Being fun and sociable is still possible while being introverted. Smile. If someone approaches me, it's a lot easier for me to talk to them. I usually have to put on a cheerful face after internally flipping the switch. If I am out and about, 9 out of 10 times it means I have flipped that switch and am willing to interact with people. If I am in my home though, it's hit or miss. I might not want to do anything and just turn off my brain for the day. That's why I don't enjoy talking on the phone. Texting is much easier because you don't read emotions. I'm the same as you in the being boisterous and eccentric when with people I am comfortable with. I also dislike surprise visits, because I prefer being able to psych myself up a bit before doing something with other people. I'm an introvert. It's not like we're some totally different species. You can interact with people normally. Introverts just need time alone to recharge after a lot of socializing. Extroverts get energy from it. Stuff like don't make small talk, or text me instead of calling, are just personal preferences. You can 100% find extroverts that hate small talk or that want to be texted. I fucking love small talk. To me it's how you can build a connection with someone so that you can have the big conversations. Text me instead of calling though, but I think that's just because I'm a millennial. Yep, I am introverted but still like socializing and count myself as good at conversing with people. I may just need to step away after a couple of hours, get quiet, or hang back from a group after a while, in order to recharge, especially around those that I don't know very well. Exactly this. I love socializing. I'm extremely outgoing. I love meeting new people, and I'm very talkative. I'm perfectly happy to be the one to reach out and make plans, and I rarely, if ever, cancel on people unless it's an emergency. I don't really need special treatment. I just get really tired and have to recharge by myself for a bit after extended social situations. I think the major difference I noticed between extroverts and introverts was how they handled this past year during the COVID crisis. I was completely fine during the strictest shutdowns. I texted and called friends, started new hobbies, and filled my time with plenty of solitary activities. My extroverted husband was completely miserable in comparison. My best friend and I have had a lot of talks over the last year about how we interact with people. I'm going through a divorce and having to relearn a lot of social skills I didn't realize were stunted/forgotten. The idea of malpractice concerns. The fact that you feel more energetic after a conversation is not universal. You need to be aware of how other people get drained, and manage your expectations and ideas accordingly. was a huge eye-opener for me. I'd never realized that some people find socializing to be tiring. You can 100% find extroverts that hate small talk or that want to be texted. So much this. I have two friends who are both extroverts. One has something of a pet peeve about small talk. She doesn't want to just fill the air with words, she wants to talk to you. She's also good at drawing people out and is basically a friend to anyone who'll have her. She's generally pretty socially busy, so the best way to get in touch out of the blue is through texting. The other is rather shy, and while she loves to socialize with people she's comfortable with, it's quite hard for her to put herself out there and make new friends. She much prefers phone calls though, because she hates the lack of inflection and mood that afflicts all text conversations. It's very important to her that emotional context is present. This hits the nail on the head. It's common procedure in my office to interrupt or be interpreted. I think it makes communicating exhausting and frustrating. You can't finish a coherent thought before someone tramps all over what you were saying. It's so bad in my office that someone will literally ask, "What do you think about this?" And before I'm 3 words into my response, they're already talking over me. It's exhausting and unproductive. Edit to add working from home has solved this problem almost 100% since most communication is via text. Interruptions only happen on video chat or phone calls. We don't, joke aside, respect our boundaries and don't be afraid to invite us left and right. Even if we don't want to go, we really do appreciate your offer. It shows you like us enough to wish for our presences. Also, if things are becoming really awkward, we will greatly appreciate any form of rescue that you could think of. And lastly, give us some time. Once you get to know us, we are pretty decent people that can be pretty batshit crazy as long as the occasion is favorable. I'm one of those annoying yet lovable extroverts who have a habit of adopting you introverted types and get you out the house. But all joking aside, when I invite people out and keep getting turned down, I'll eventually stop doing the inviting. Maintaining relationships takes effort and one person can't expect it to do all the work. Just understand that as an extroverted person, social interactions charge your batteries. For us, it drains them. A period of solitude recharges them. Being introverted does not mean antisocial or socially awkward or anything like that. Many introverted people can be mistaken for extroverts. We are often looking inward, so people will make wrong assumptions about us. My dad always tells me I'm extroverted because I can attend social gatherings and be a pleasant and conversational person and not hiding in a corner under a table. Introversion is not debilitating social anxiety or fear of interacting in social situations. Different strokes for different folks. On your second point, my partner and I, both quite introverted, are very comfortable in high stimulation environments like clubs and festivals where it's easy to blend into a sea of people. I'm also very comfortable in one-way street sorts of social events like being in a stage performance or being a public speaker. I don't feel the drain unless actively socially engaged. Honestly, I just want to be left alone when I want to be left alone. If I say I don't want to go out, don't continue to pester me and make me feel bad about it. Also, just because I don't want to do something tonight doesn't mean I won't want to do things ever. Sometimes my friends will make plans on a day that I would like to go out and be around people, but they don't invite me because they think he will just say number. Social battery is real, ladies and gents. Sometimes it needs to be recharged by being alone. Sometimes it's full. Only issue is sometimes folks feel entitled for some reason. Like someone approaches a person, and if the person's sociability isn't up to par, that person's gonna get shit for it. If that makes sense? Like getting bad-mouthed or a dirty look or pushed around. All the comments about getting approached respectfully and chill are on the right track, Like recognize it's not really bad if someone can't engage at the moment. What you call someone's sociability not being up to par, most people interpret as leave me alone. If you're giving one-word answers and staring at our feet, I'm gonna walk away, not keep a one-sided conversation going because you might secretly be an introvert who really wants to talk. See, I'm just the opposite. I don't want conversation that requires too much thought. It's so draining. Give me idle small talk all day though. I don't even have to pay attention to get that checkbox ticked. I loved the part of Fight Club where he refers to single-serving friends. That is my ideal social interaction. This is very true for me. I don't have a problem having real discussions with people I care about getting to know. I just get super drained by surface-level exchanges of pleasantries and observations. I struggle to feign interest in casual conversations that seem routine or forced. Stuff like the weather, how was your weekend, how does your workday look, etc. I know people initiate these conversations to be polite and show engagement, but I just personally don't see the point of it. The shallow conversations that are completely fake kill me. Like you say it's great to see me, but I bet you never even gave me a thought. And you want to get together soon? I mean it when I say it, so don't say it if you don't. And I know you don't mean it because I never hear from you. It's okay to be nice. It's okay to be respectful, but don't schmooze me with white lies that you think are unnecessary. They aren't, and you using them feels cheap. You can be polite and friendly without using these fake overtones you don't mean. I do it so I know others can too. I just want to talk to people who are genuine. I don't understand those that aren't. From a respectful distance, the worst thing people can do is get too far into my personal space. That's an immediate nope out of the interaction if I can, although it depends on the company. It's mostly okay if it's someone we know well, for as long as we can handle. Everyone is different, but long interactions can be exhausting. Very important, at least to me. No yelling, strong arguments, conflict in the presence. It can be catastrophically frustrating, to the point of noping out of any form of interaction in the future. Oh, and another one. Don't be insulted if we talk only to one person in the big group. It's hard to be involved with everyone at the same time. Invite me to things, even if I might say no. Invite me if you want me there. Make me feel like I'm wanted. It sucks being caught in the cycle of being scared to be in group settings but not getting invited and feeling like nobody likes me or wants to be around me. Part of that is anxiety, but I want to feel wanted. Edit. I didn't come here for a debate. I'm no longer responding to comments. The prompt was asking introverts how we want to be socially interacted with. If you are here to tell an introvert that their thing doesn't work for you, you are just poking people back into their shells and you are part of the problem. Perhaps reevaluate your friendships if it is so hard to be sympathetic or accommodating to a friend who is nervous or uncomfortable with certain types of group settings. In my case, most of my friends and acquaintances figured out that in a group environment I would mostly stay quiet, but would open up more in a one-on-one situation. A few of them found that, given the right topic, they couldn't shut me up. This has been my biggest lesson as an extrovert in academia surrounded by introverts. I talk and keep talking because silence stresses me out, but I learned, probably too late, that you gotta just shut the trap and let the silence hang to give space for introverts to let them organize thoughts and figure out what to say. Even if the silence gives me sweaty palms and all I want to do is open my big mouth. Don't invite us to a group setting without telling us it's a group setting. I have a friend that constantly invites me to do things. I have no issue with that as I'm comfortable around her. However, she has started inviting me to hang out with her without the prior knowledge of the other 6 people there. May just be me, but just because I'll hang out with you doesn't mean I'll hang out with you in a group. Have you told her this? She can just assume you're fine with it. If you never make a point of it, she is communicating to you that she likes it. If you never explicitly communicate that you dislike it, don't be surprised that she keeps doing it. Communication is important, and introverts don't get a pass.